my 1997 E300 Mercedes diesel that I converted over to run off the cooking oil. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a master certified Mercedes-Benz technician. I've been doing it for about 10 years. About 5 years ago, I did an experiment with alternative fuel system on this car. I bought a grease car kit and found a source of supply waste fryer oil. And basically, it looks just like a regular car, but you have the option to run it on diesel fuel and run it on waste fryer oil or any kind of oil that is normally thrown away. I want to show you what how the whole car works. Basically, what I've done was I made this a 2-tank system on the car. Basically, what you have is you got your engine and your main fuel tank and the auxiliary fuel tank, which I've installed. Normally when you can run on cooking oil, some people do 1-tank systems, and they are more problematic to have than 2-tank system. 2-tank system works out a little bit better for you because basically your main fuel tank, the factory fuel tank, you leave that alone. And if you ever have problems with the auxiliary fuel tank, being the vegetable oil, you can always switch over back over to regular diesel fuel and be on your way home. Basically, what I've got here is a grease car kit from greasecar.com. Basically, how it works is you've got the main fuel tank, auxiliary fuel tank, and you're able to control it with the valve down here. Basically what this valve is, it's controlled by a wired USB port system. What it basically does is on the auxiliary controller system, it tells you how much the fuel you have in your tank and the temperature of the fuel, and it also controls the valves for the fuel lines in the car. Basically, I'll give you a walk around of the car. As you can see, it is basically a stock looking car. In the engine compartment, you really can't see much. It's basically a bone stock Mercedes, and the only thing I've done was plumbed in a new fuel system to the car, which you can tell by this round thing down here. That is my auxiliary fuel system for the vegetable oil. That is the fuel filter for the auxiliary tank, which I've installed in the trunk back here. Basically what I do is I'll collect fuel from restaurants and I will fill up this tank right here. I'll usually, filter as best as I can, and basically what I do is I run the whole car off of this. It's a unique idea. Anybody can do it with a mechanically inclined person. Basically, as you can see, it looks a little bit complex, and to the average person probably could not do this to a car. The auxiliary fuel tank is heated up by the engine coolant, because the engine coolant is waste heat, and the waste heat, you use that to heat up the fryer oil in the tank, and it makes the oil more fluid in order for it to travel through the car, through the fuel system on the car. Basically what I've got in the car is, you cannot tell inside the car that it is, runs alternative fuel. Basically what I have here is I wanted to have a stealth system where you couldn't tell what the car was, but that's the whole point. I'm going to close the hood here on the car, and I will explain to you a little bit more about the fuel system on it, how you control it. On this car, I will start up the car. Basically what you have here is you do use your main fuel tank, and you fill that up with diesel fuel. As you can see, I'm a little bit low, but not terribly low on the car. But in order for it to run off cooking oil, you have to have a controller system. which is this down here. This is the grease car controller. It tells you how hot the engine coolant is, which is 189 degrees right now. My tank is almost full, and the little diesel manual message is saying that I'm running on dinosaur juice. This little controller, you can program it to automatically switch over from the main fuel tank to the auxiliary fuel tank, but if you like to control it a little bit better, or you want to have control over it versus this, you just hit this button right here, the mode button, and it switches over to vegetable oil. Now you see the temperature has changed on the temperature side over there. It's reading 133 degrees. That is how hot the cooking oil is. That is using the residual heat from the coolant system. And basically, technically right now the car is running on vegetable oil. As you can hear, the car runs just like it would on diesel fuel, but one of the other things with the car is, and you're not able to notice it, but depending on where you get your French fry oil from or your waste cooking oil from, the exhaust system will smell like whatever's been cooked in the oil, i.e. like if you've been cooking with French fries or chicken, you'll have that distinct odor from the car. Basically what I've done is, if you look underneath the car, which you may or may not get a good view of, is the hoses underneath the car. You see them to the right, you see them dangling a little bit. That is the coolant line and the fuel line to the car, to the auxiliary tank. And it comes up here to the front of the engine compartment, and basically it has a heater that heats up the cooking oil, and it is run through a filter over here in the car, right here. This is the line from the auxiliary fuel tank, and this is the fuel filter, which is wrapped up in a coil that heats up the cooking oil, and it goes over here to this side over here, and I've got 4 or 5 switchover valves on in the engine compartment, which is buried underneath there, and it bypasses the main fuel system filter from the tank. So basically what I've got is, it doesn't have cross-contamination from the factory tank to the vegetable oil tank, and that is one of the reasons why I did it, because it will give you it's a pre-safe kind of thing to stop you from being stuck on the side of the road. Because if you had one tank system and you had a clog in it, you'd be stuck on the side of the road. Well, with this, you have an option to pull back to your main fuel tank and use the diesel fuel on that, and that's basically how the car works. I've got an inline thermal heater on the car, and this is how the car works right here. I have a lot of stuff that's buried underneath there. Basically, that picture I showed you was a layman's, description of how the system works in the car. Hold on, 1 second, I will shut the hood and we'll go for a ride. Yeah. And here we go. I will obviously fasten my seatbelt and everything. And right now we are running on cooking oil. We are driving on fries. We're at Vulcan today, even though it's a little bit drizzly day, but the system will work in pretty much almost every single environment. Colder environments, you may want to use more insulation on your wire, not on your wiring, but on your fuel lines, to keep the heat in the vehicle fuel system, so you always reach a proper temperature on the car. And the controller, you can just leave it how it is. While you're driving down the road, you can switch off the diesel fuel to the fryer oil, or vice versa. Basically what I do is when I stop the car for the day or for the night or whatever, or I'm gone for an extended period of time, you have to purge the fuel system on the car, just as so you can have startup on diesel fuel and not have any problems with like cold starts with the cooking oil. Basically what you do is you hit the mode button down here, and you will see the timer start counting down. And basically what it's doing right now is it's pulling the diesel fuel out of the main tank and pushing it into the auxiliary tank. It's therefore flushing the fuel system out of the car, and so when you stop the vehicle, you are basically running on diesel fuel. And that's pretty much how it works. Now when you want it to go back to running on cooking oil, basically what you do is you wait for the engine coolant temperature to reach, I usually wait up to about 180 degrees on the car, and you can switch it over on that, or you can program the controller to do it automatically for you. But every time you do it on automatic mode, you have to manually shut it down to purge the fuel lines on it. So right now the coolant temperature is at 190 degrees. I'm running on diesel fuel, and I'm no longer running on the vegetable oil. So you want to see how it happens while I'm driving. I'm driving the car right now. You want to switch it over to run on the French fry oil. Basically what you do is you just hit the mode button, and we're going 40 miles an hour. It is swapped over from the main diesel fuel tank over to the French fry tank, and you can see there's no hesitation or cutting out of the car with the running on the vegetable oil. Now the only thing that happens while you're running on cooking oil is occasionally the French fry oil filter circuit will tend to clog. You want to get out all the crap out of the waste oil and everything before you place it in the auxiliary tank on the car. The cleaner the oil, the better you are as far as running and having problems with the system. Basically, what I'm saying is the cleaner the fuel, the better the mileage you get. And a lot of people are probably asking me right now, what kind of fuel mileage do you get with a car? I have filled up that main gas tank and the main auxiliary fuel cell. And I've run from Birmingham to New Orleans on almost half a tank of the French fry oil on the car. I could drive to and from Atlanta on one tank of vegetable oil. It usually costs me maybe a couple of dollars to make the round trip in Atlanta and back, and basically the system pays for itself when you take long trips, or if you have to do a lot of long-term driving. Like I said, this isn't a system you want to install by yourself. You would probably want to have someone help you out as far as being able to explain how this works. And there are offsets storing on diesel fuel. You can only use this on cars that do not have the AdBlue system, which is comes in both forms of a dry system, which the AdBlue dry system is burners in the catalytic converters in the exhaust. It has O2 sensors that sniff out and look for the petroleum product being burned. So therefore you cannot run the waste vegetable oil in most newer vehicles. And the other setup that they have is the AdBlue Wet, which uses diesel exhaust fluid, DEF. It's very similar to what I'm running here, but the diesel exhaust fluid is not any kind of alternative fuel. The wet diesel exhaust fluid, basically it makes a molecular change in the exhaust system, so when it comes out of the tailpipe, it's basically a zero emission car. And that right as well cannot be used with the vegetable oil system because of the catalytic converters. You basically want to find an older car like what I've got, up to like 2002, 2004. You don't want to get a car with the with blue tech or anything like that, because it will not work on the system on the car, and you'll end up ruining the car using waste fryer oil on a blue tech vehicle. I wouldn't suggest using it. Any other questions, feel free to call me. My phone number is 475-5710. Of course, that's area code 205. You can reach me at David Lanca at LENCADAVID at yahoo.com. That's LancaDavid at yahoo.com, or lancadude at yahoo.com, or you can find me at the local Mercedes dealership, and I'll be able to explain to you how this works. And I'd like to find out if there's any more people in this area that are running on vegetable oil, because vegetable oil is a hard commodity to come by unless you know someone that owns a restaurant or someone that can give you a constant supply of cooking oil. Anyway, I'll hope to see y'all or hear from you soon. Thanks, bye.